What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, what I thought I would do is show you guys how I'm managing a $500,000 construction budget for one of my current projects. So we're doing a full gut renovation of 4-unit property. It's going to cost us just over $500,000. So I'll break down exactly the budget for this project, and I'll show you exactly how I'm managing everything, how I'm tracking which contractors are due payments for, which are expenses, and everything in between. So you'll get a full understanding of how I'm kind of keeping control of this project. So with that, let's get at it. What's going on, guys? My name's Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes of the video, super quickly, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. I put out tons of new videos every single week talking all about rental property investing, from tips on buying, deal analysis. I give you guys videos of walkthroughs of my projects and properties. So if that's the kind of content that interests you, make sure you subscribe to my channel. So I'm excited to dive into this. I've had some questions from some of you guys about how I actually manage some of these renovations budgets, especially some bigger ones, right? I mean, this one that we're gonna do a video about is over $500,000, so there's quite a lot of money flowing in and out. So I'll show you guys first our budgets, right? Exactly how we broke it down. I'll show you exactly how we're keeping track of that, how we're keeping track of different draws, right, that we're getting from the bank. I'll show you guys how I'm keeping track of payments made, payments owed, what payments I have upcoming. So that way I kind of always have full control of my renovation budget and I'm never like behind. The way I will do this video is I'll actually share my screen with you guys. That way you'll see exactly what's going on. This will be an Excel, and yes, I'm old school. I love my good old Excel. I know there's a ton of software out there that does this for you, but for me, Excel just, I love it. It gets me juiced up, and that's what I use a lot of times to manage a lot of different aspects of my business. So I'll show you guys my Excel, and let's dive right into it. All right, so welcome to my Excel for this particular budget. You can see this is a pretty thick spreadsheet here. So I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of the tabs. So just to clarify, there are two, you can see if you look in the bottom here, there are two different construction budget tabs. The reason for that is this is a 4-unit property, but technically it's actually two families. So we had to get essentially two separate loans on it, but they're identical. So all the numbers that are going to be for one side are going to be the same for the other. So first, let me walk you guys through the actual budget, right? And this is the budget we submitted to the bank. This is the budget we got approved by the lender. So you can see right here, this B is our original budget. You can see total cost is $275. So it's actually 275 times 2, which is a $550,000 construction budget. This is a gut rehab, which literally means we are starting from absolute scratch, right? So we've got budgets for demolition and dumpsters, right? Where we literally have people come in and literally demo the entire thing from in and out. Then we've got a framing budget, right? Because we're going to reframe the building. We're going to be doing decks. We've got sprinkler and fire alarm costs. We've got rough and finish plumbing, insulation. You can see HVAC. You can see paint, kitchen countertops, cabinets, right? Basically everything, literally everything we're redoing from scratch. What else? We got floors, finished carpentry, new roof, new siding, new windows, appliances. So literally we are doing absolutely everything brand new over in this building. Now, what I like to do is have my original budget, and then I also like to keep track of the bids we get, right? Because it's one thing to have a budget, but then you obviously want to know what kind of bids you get. Now you can see here, our framing budget here is significantly over what we had initially intended for. I actually did a video on this, on another video explaining how we went almost $40,000 over budget on our framing. There's quite a bit of reasons that went into that, but that's also on one side, right? Because if you look at the other side, it was not as bad. It was only 40,000. So total we spent about $100,000 in framing. And again, if you want to know exactly why, check out my other video on the channel. But you can see basically on our bids, we went over on our demo and framing. But there's other places we're able to save, right? We're able to save, for example, in rough and finish plumbing, we're able to get a cheaper quote. We were able to save a little bit on insulation, a little bit on HVAC compared to the original budget. Electrical, we're basically right on par. Cabinets, we saved a little bit money. Flooring, we went a little bit over. So, and this is this is kind of spelled out here in this variance category, right? So this is basically just what the variance is between our original budget and bids. So if you look at our gross variance right now, we're $15,000 over our projected budget, which honestly is not terrible considering what we went through in this building. Again, we found some pretty bad surprises in the foundation and framing, which killed us pretty bad. But the fact that we're able to kind of mitigate everything and so far stay on the course of only losing $15,000 over our original budget is not too shabby. Now, this is our draw schedule. So I'm going to kind of show you guys here. So basically the way it works, right? If you guys have seen my other videos, the way it works with construction lending is the banks will set up these budgets for you, but then you have to get draws from the bank every time you complete a certain amount of work, right? So let's say you did demolition work and then framing work. It's not like the bank front loads that to you, right? You first have to complete that work, then they will come out and actually release the money for that specific budget, right? So you can see so far I've had 3 draws on this project, each time kind of drawing on different categories. So obviously first we mainly drew on demolition and framing. Then you can see as the next 2 draws, we started kind of drawing on insulation, electrical, rough plumbing, some floor, some roof, some siding, as we did more and more work. Now I'll show you the other side just so you have an idea, but it's identical, original budget right here. Total is $275,000. Again, it's exactly the same as on the other side. Variance on this side is a little bit higher, just because we front loaded some expense onto one side. So here we're over by $30,000, but I will say we've got some bids coming in pretty soon that I know will shave off this $30,000 variance quite a bit. I think we should be able to get it down to probably like maybe $5,000-$10,000, which is actually very, very good. Same thing over here. Every time I took a draw, I did it on both sides. So you can see how I took out a draw. Again, framing and demo front loaded on the first draw, and then kind of mechanicals, exterior work, HVAC on the second and third draw. So next I'll actually show you guys the hard cost tracking, right? So this is exactly the hard cost we've incurred. I like to kind of keep track of this. Again, I'm old school, as I said. I love my good old Excel. It's just very easy for me to see. So I kind of know exactly what payments we've made, who's paid for them. And you can see exactly what category they've gone to. I also like to put some notes on each payment, as well as how much, obviously how much money we spent per line item. Now, the other thing I like to do is kind of do what I call a subcontractor tracking, right? So every subcontractor we have, whether it's framing, whether it's roofing, siding, plumbing, right? I like to know, the way we structure the contract with these subcontractors is they have multiple payments, right? They'll have usually an upfront payment, then they'll have kind of a couple of progress payments, and then a finalized payment. So I like to know, for example, you can see framing on the right side, so that's 61. You can see the total contract amount, so that tells me how much total we're going to spend over there. Then you'll see exactly how much we're going to get charged for the upfront payment, and I also know exactly when I made it, right? Date paid. Then I'll see payment number 2, and exactly when that was made, payment number 3, and so on. So, for example, you can see on the one side we completely already finished the framing. On the other side, we have not. We've only made 1 payment so far. So you can see I forgot to put in the dates. I'll do that after. But you can see exactly when we made that first payment. That was obviously the initial payment. I actually just cut this check today, so I'm going to update this as well today, and put in that I updated that I made this $12,000 payment to our contractor. Again, same thing with roofing and siding, same thing with plumbing, right? Again, we know exactly total contract amount. I know exactly what my first payment was.
I know I can see my next payment, when it'll, how much will be due. I put a note for myself after rough inspection pass. So this just allows me to track the different subcontractors, when payments are going to be due, how much they're going to be due for, and at what milestones. And this is actually going to feed into my summary, which I'll show you on the next tab. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly show you my soft cost tracking. I like to kind of differentiate between my hard cost and soft cost. So if you guys are not familiar, soft cost is essentially anything that's not directly construction related. So I just blanked out here some sensitive information that I didn't want necessarily everyone to see. But you can kind of see what kind of different fees I have in here. This was I've got a lot of private debt payments. I've got plot plans, demo permit fees, architect fees, GC fees. Let's see what else we've got. Permit fees. I've got some utility fees. I've got my monthly mortgage payments, water and sewer, some trash removal. What else do we have? We've got some structural engineering that we had to do. So that's also a soft cost. Again, GC fees, electrical, taxes, right? So this is basically me tracking all the other costs that we are incurring on the project outside directly to the contractors, that is directly material or labor. So it's just another great way for me to track this. Now, the last thing I'll show you guys is what I like to call my cash summary. And basically, this is what I look at almost every day, just to kind of track of how much money I have currently in my account and what payments I have upcoming pretty soon. So, for example, you can see here, my current account balance is about $50,000 for this project. And these are all the payments I know I'm going to need to be making shortly, right? So, for example, I'm going to have a $25,000 payment due to my window company that I actually financed on credit. That bill is going to be due shortly. So I've got $24,000. I know I'm going to soon have to make a second payment on my site for my siding and roof contractor. I'm going to have another framing payment done soon. Some plumbing and HVAC payments are going to be done, are going to need to be made pretty soon as well as my second payment for electrical. So basically what this tells me is, look, I've got about $50,000 and I have about $90,000 of upcoming payments. Now you might say, well, Lior, you're $40,000 short. But it's not like these are all due tomorrow. Some of these I'm not going to pay for a while until the work is done. And they might not be paid until I order another draw, right? So I might have to first get another draw where I'll bring in the bank, show them that there's been a lot of completed plumbing and HVAC. Then I'll get some more money released to me. And that's how I'll be able to make those payments, right? So it's not like I'm underwater, but it's good for me to essentially know how we're standing on from a cash management perspective in terms of what are the near-term balances I'm going to be due for, as well as how much cash I have today in order to pay these off. So hopefully that helps, guys. Hopefully that kind of gives you a quick idea of exactly how I kind of keep track of all the financials of a project. Again, between my tabs on the actual budgets, the variance, the draws, that's one thing. Then I've got my tabs for hard cost tracking, my tab for soft cost tracking that show you guys. And like I said, probably the one I check almost every day is my cash summary, right? Because I need to know which payments I have upcoming, how much cash I have in my operating account to make those. So it allows me to kind of balance out and really have a nice firm grip over the project and make sure I'm not falling behind. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. Obviously, if you have any questions, anything like that, just shoot them below.